Om Gurave Namah. So we continue with the very last chapter of the story of Savitri in the Mahabharata in the Vanaparva. So this is just tying all the ends together as you have this happily ever after in any fairy tale kind of story. Something similar to that over here. So just to tie the things up and say what happened at the end, right? So just to give a feel good factor really. So we'll start with it. This is a very short chapter, and we'll summarize at the end of it. So Markandeya continues his story to Yudhishthira in Hindi. जब वह रात बीत गई और सूर्यमंडल का उदय हुआ, उस समय सब तपोधन ऋषिगण पूर्वाह्न काल का नित्य कृत्य पूरा करके पुनः उस आश्रम में एकत्र हुए। वे महर्षिगण राजा द्युमत्सेन से सावित्री के उस परम सौभाग्य का बारंबार वर्णन करते हुए भी तृप्त नहीं होते थे। सो we remember in the previous session, Savitri explains to all the rishis and her in-laws and even her husband what exactly happened with Yama and how she was able to get all the boons and protect the life of Satyavan, as well as get all the boons for her father and father-in-law. So, while talking like that, the entire night went past and the sun rose up again. So, as happens, in the early mornings, all the rishis will go back and go to the river and do their morning nitya karma, the sandhya vandana. So, after doing all of that, they came back and they were keeping on talking of that incredible story of Savitri, right? So, they were like the kind of great saubhagya or good luck that has come their way of Dhyumatsen and Savitri. They were so much astonished by it, so they were keeping on talking about it. Meanwhile, what happened is उसी समय शाल्व देश से वहाँ की सारी प्रजाओं ने आकर महाराज ध्युमसेन से कहा, प्रभो आपका शत्रु अपने ही मंत्री के हाथों मारा गया है. So while they were talking like this, from Shalva Desh, or the kingdom of Shalva, which was originally the kingdom of Dhyumatsena, from where he was exiled. So at that time, all the people, the key people from Shalva Desha, they came to the forest to Maharaj Dhyumatsen, and they told him that, oh Lord, your enemy, that is the king who had usurped your throne from you, he has got killed at the hands of his own ministers. उन्होंने यह भी निवेदन किया कि उसके सहायक और बंधु बांधव भी मंत्री के ही हाथों मर चुके हैं। शत्रु की सारी सेना पलायन कर गई है। यह यथावत वृत्तांत सुनकर सब लोगों का एक मत से यह निश्चय हुआ है कि हमें पूर्व नरेश पर ही विश्वास है। उन्हें दिखाई देता हो या ना दिखाई देता हो, फिर भी वे हमारे राजा हो। नरेश्वर, ऐसा निश्चय करके ही हमें यहाँ भेजा गया है। ये सवारियाँ प्रस्तुत है और आपकी चतुरंगिनी सेना भी आपकी सेवा में उपस्थित है। राजन, आपका कल्याण हो। अब आप अपने राज्य में पधारिए। नगर में आपकी विजय घोषित कर दी गई है। आप दीर्घ काल तक अपने बाप दादाओं के राज्य पर प्रतिष्ठित रहे। So all the people who had come over there from the Shalva Desh, they said that not just the king but all his kinsmen, his his sons and grandsons, all the people around him, all of them have been killed by the ministers, and the entire army of that king has also fled back to their kingdom. So after all this has happened, the people of the kingdom decided that we have belief in only our earlier former king, whether because he had to be exiled because he became blind, right? So whether he is blind, that is whether he can see or whether he cannot see, whatever it may be, he is our king. So that's they still don't know that he has got his eyesight back. So then these people say that such has been the decision of the entire public of Dhyumatsen. So this is like a democratic thing, all the key people of that, maybe the entire public over there. In those days, these kingdoms, they had sabhas, every village had a had an assembly, and then a set of villages have their assembly and all that. So there was, actually speaking, while there's a king on top, there was pretty much of a democratic system at the, at the below the king, right? And there are evidences of, for example, from the inscriptions of the Chola kingdom, we know that it was pretty much like that. So all the people over there, unanimously they have decided that Dhyumasena will be their king, and with that they had sent across this, important and elite people of the kingdom, the respected elders or whatever, who had come to Dhyumasena and said that, that's what we want. This is our decision. We have brought all your entourage, your horses, your chariots, and everything, and your entire army is presented to you. Please now come back to the kingdom, and your victory has been announced already. Now you please come back and sit on the throne and rule us for a long, long period of time, as your purvajas, as your ancestors have done before you. तत्पश्चात राजा ध्युमसेन को नेत्र युक्त और स्वस्थ शरीर से सुशोभित देखकर उन सबके नेत्र आश्चर्य से खिल उठे और सबने मस्तक झुकाकर उन्हें प्रणाम किया. So then they realized, oh, Raja Dhyumasen actually has got his eyesight back, and they were so much surprised and astonished by that, so they bowed before him and saluted him. इसके बाद राजा ने आश्रम में रहने वाले उन वृद्ध ब्राह्मणों का अभिवादन किया और उन सबसे समाधित हो वे अपनी राजधानी की ओर चले. So after that, Raja Dhyumasen took leave of all the elderly people, all the saints and sadhus and brahmanas who were there. After saluting them and taking their leave, he went back to his capital. शैब्या भी अपनी बहू सावित्री के साथ सुंदर बिछावन से युक्त तेजस्वी शिबिका पर जिसे कई कहा ढो रहे थे आरूढ़ हो सेना से घिरी हुई चल दी. शिबिका करते पालकी. तो शैब्या जो कि ध्युमसेन की पत्नी है और सावित्री वो एक अच्छे से पालकी में बैठ के सारे जिसे बहुत सारे कहार ढो रहे थे जो ढोते हैं इसको पालकी को पालकी ढोने वाले उनके और उसमें बैठकर पूरे सेना के साथ वो भी इनके पीछे चल दी, दैट इज ध्युमसेन के पीछे. सो शैब्या विच हु इज वाइफ ऑफ ध्युमसेना एंड सावित्री, they sat in a palanquin which was carried by many porters, and along with the huge army that they had, they went back to the kingdom. वहाँ पहुँचने पर पुरोहितों ने बड़ी प्रसन्नता के साथ ध्युमसेन का राज्याभिषेक किया. साथ ही उनके महामना पुत्र सत्यवान को भी युवराज पद पर अभिषिक्त कर दिया. So once they went there, the purohits or the priests, they with great happiness they did the coronation rituals of the king Dhyumasena, and also they made Satyavan as the Yuvaraja or the crown prince. तदनंतर दीर्घकाल के पश्चात सावित्री के गर्भ से उसकी कीर्ति बढ़ाने वाले 100 पुत्र उत्पन्न हुए. वे सब के सब शूरवीर तथा संग्राम में कभी पीछे ना हटने वाले हैं. So thereafter, after some time or quite some time, from Savitri's womb came 100 sons who were very valorous and who would never flee from any battlefield. They were that much brave. So we can see one after another all the boons that Yama had given to Savitri for her father-in-law. His eyesight had already come back, we had seen. His health had come back. Now he's got his kingdom back. And now Savitri has also got 100 sons from Satyavan. And then her father also gets. So इसी प्रकार मद्रराज अश्वपति के भी मालवी के गर्भ से सावित्री के 100 सहोदर भाई उत्पन्न हुए जो अत्यंत बलशाली थे. So the king of Madra, Ashwapati, who is the father of Savitri, from Savitri's mother, that is Malvi, from her he produces 100 sons who are basically the brothers of Savitri, and they were also very very powerful. इस तरह सावित्री ने अपने आप को, पति माता को, सास ससुर को तथा पति के समस्त कुल को भी भारी संकट से बचा लिया था. So in this manner the story ends, wherein Savitri had protected from a grave problem or danger or an obstacle or trouble her parents, her in-laws, father-in-law and mother-in-law, as well as the entire lineage of her husband, because by protecting her husband and then producing sons, the lineage continues. सावित्री की ही भांति यह कल्याणमयी उत्तम कुल वाली सुशीला द्रौपदी तुम सब लोगों को महान संकट से उद्धार करेगी. So this is how Markandeya is concluding the story, that you asked about, okay, is there anyone like Draupadi? See, I have told you the story of Savitri. Just as Savitri, okay, has protected everyone around her, her entire family. Similarly, this very auspicious, very high class, or in sense of a high noble family, cultured Draupadi, well cultured Draupadi, she will also protect you, that is you, all of you Pandavas, from any trouble. जन्मेजय इस प्रकार उन महात्मा मार्कंडेय जी के समझाने बुझाने और आश्वासन देने पर उस समय पांडुनंदन राजा युधिष्ठिर शोक तथा चिंता से रहित हो काम्यक वन में सुखपूर्वक रहने लगे. So after Rishi Markandeya had explained and sort of consoled and given assurance to Yudhishthira that don't be so sad, you have a great lady as your wife, just like the Savitri who whose virtues you have just listened from me. You have such a wife for you, so why do you have to worry, right? You don't have anything to worry. So he removed all the worries from Yudhishthira's mind, and then Yudhishthira peacefully lived in this forest known as Kamyaka. Kamyaka, in that forest, he lived with his brothers and Draupadi to finish off that exile period that they had. Right? Just to remind, this is during the exile period, the 13-year-long exile period that the Pandavas had to suffer. जो इस परम उत्तम सावित्री उपाख्यान को भक्ति भाव से सुनेगा वह मनुष्य सदा अपने समस्त मनोरथों को सिद्ध होने से सुखी होगा, मनोरथों के सिद्ध होने सुखी होगा और कभी दुख नहीं पाएगा. यश्चैदम शृणुयाद भक्त्या सावित्र्याख्यान उत्तमम स सुखी सर्व सिद्धार्थो न दुखम प्राप्नुयात् नरः. So the one who listens to this story, Upakhyana of Savitri, with great devotion. By devotion, it is meant a kind of reverence, attention, and focus. It's not like your mind is anywhere else, right? You are really impressed by the story. You're deeply involved in the story, and you're like wondering, oh, what a lady Savitri is. That's how we have tried to read this. Wherever those great lines where she says, wherever my husband goes or is taken away, there I will be. That is Sanatana Dharma. See, we remember such great lines of hers, right? And when she tells Narada and her father that like a word is given only once, I have already decided that I will marry Satyavan, so I will marry him. So like that, we have paid great attention to this story, right? So when whoever listens to this or even tells this in great devotion, that person will attain all that he desires, and hence he will be happy and contented, and he will not have any sorrow whatsoever. समस्त मनोरथों के सिद्ध होने से सुखी होगा और कभी दुख नहीं पाएगा. इति श्री महाभारते वन पर्वणि पतिव्रत महात्म्य पर्वणि सावित्री उपाख्याने नवनवत्यधिक-द्विशततमो अध्यायः. सो दिस इज ये जो है ये महाभारत में वन पर्व में पतिव्रता महात्म्य पर्व में सावित्री उपाख्यान मतलब सावित्री की ये कहानी है जो कि 200 क्या बोलेंगे इसको हिंदी में 300 - 1 ले लेते हैं ओके 290 शायद बोलेंगे ना 290 शायद यहाँ होगा, 299वां अध्याय पूरा हुआ. Okay, so this is the 299 chapter of Vanaparva in the and this specifically is the Pativrata Mahatma Parva and the story of Savitri. This ends this story. So thank you so much for those whoever have listened to all these various parts of the story till now and have patiently been with me. Thank you so much. I hope this does good for you. This inspires you. There are so many such stories in the Mahabharata. People are just bothered about reading the main storyline, but actually speaking, there are so many other stories. Like there's a story of Nala Damayanti, phenomenal story of how two people. I mean, these are stories. Honestly, I hope one day people make movies of this, but they stay true to the story, not make any hanky panky their own version of the story whatsoever. Yeah, a little bit you can dramatize, for the sake of a movie, etc. But stay sincere and true to the story because these are beautiful stories. They must be told to everyone. We all know, okay, Savitri had a conversation with Yama and somehow convinced him. But what did she say, right? And what were her qualities? We didn't know, right? So this uh, few chapters, around I think 6 or 7 chapters in the Mahabharata, help us understand. The story of Savitri is not just in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned in many of the other Puranas. I'm sure I've definitely seen it in Devi Bhagavatam. I think it's there in Agni Purana. I'm not sure though. It's there in many, many Puranas for sure. Okay, I have happened to see it here and there in many places. So, and in each place you may find something different mentioned. Uh, some different elements would be emphasized, etc. Um, for example, I happen to see Devi Bhagavata, and the Devi Bhagavata Purana, the story there, Yama actually gives a mantra of Mula Prakriti to Savitri, because that is Devi Bhagavatam. So it is extolling Devi. So there he is giving her this mantra of Mula Prakriti, that is Devi, right? So he is giving a mantra of Devi to Savitri. So like that, there are differences in different stories. Um, Please do explore all of that, and I hope you liked it. Um, I just wanted to also make a short summary just to end. So, uh, so what we find is that firstly, uh, the story of Ashwapati himself, the kind of very rigorous rituals he does, right? Doing lakhs of Gayatri Japa every day and living in a very, very austere lifestyle, and that too for years and years, not like 1 or 2 days. We cannot do that. You cannot even imagine of doing what he did for even a single day. He did that for years, right, without any break. And these people, the way they do vrata is not like, okay, every time, oh, why am I not getting the result? They will patiently do their vrata. And one day Savitri Devi herself becomes so happy, and she comes out of the fire in her form, proper form as a Devi, and blesses him. And she says, you will get a daughter, even though he wanted a son. But she says, you will get a daughter. In Devi Bhagavata, interestingly, there is this point mentioned that Savitri Devi says, your wife wanted a daughter while you want a son, so hence it's like you will get a daughter first, kind of thing. Okay, so see how liberal our earlier times were, where the wives or the ladies' request was considered more esteemed, right? Uh, so then he gets a daughter who is like another Savitri herself. He names her Savitri. And the name Savitri itself conjures in our mind an image of, like, some tejas, brilliance, and someone who is very, very determined, like the sun, who will be very regular. You can see, you can, whether you wake up or not, the sun will wake up in the morning, and every day it will set. So there is that regularity of it, which no other planets have. Sun is the most regular, most consistent of that, and he expects you also to be like that. Okay, so and the one who is so regular like the sun, they get health, they get dharma. These are the qualities of the sun, right? So then Savitri grows up, and she's so brilliant that there is no one to marry her. So Ashwapati is very worried about this, and finally says, oh daughter, you yourself go out and find a suitable husband for you. I mean, such liberal attitude that we had. And anyone who says, okay, our Puranas are stories of women being dominated upon, they don't know anything at all. It is nothing of that sort. You can see how powerful women they are, how powerful women are extolled about. Here, this is a dialogue between Yudhishthira and Markandeya, where Markandeya is extolling womanhood. He is talking about great women like Savitri. He is talking about Draupadi being like Savitri, like that. Okay. So Savitri goes and she doesn't go to the palaces. That this shows what are the values which are important. You don't value money, material wealth. She values good character, good qualities. And she finds that in a person known as Satyavan, who is the son of an exiled king, a blind exiled king living in a forest. And she who's been living in the greatest of material comforts, all Aishwaryam and all that, she wants to go and live a simple life with a hermit in a forest, right? And when she comes back and tells her father, then Narada says, no, you should not marry Satyavan. So then remember that conversation Ashwapati had with Narada. He asked, is this person not having good character? Is he not charitable? Doesn't he behave with others properly? These are all good qualities. He doesn't ask, is this person not rich or powerful king like that? No, that's not what Ashwapati is interested in. See what good people are really these exemplars, what they are interested in. They are not interested in material opulence and all that. They are interested in the strength of character. And Narada says, yes, he's great. I mean, look at those words in which he praises Satyavan. Then Ashwapati is confused. After all of this, why are you saying that Satyavan is not good enough? So Narada says there's only one problem that he has. The one problem is that he will die 1 year from now, exactly 1 year from now. And believe you me, Savitri starts keeping count of that 1 year from that day itself. That hour itself, she's been starting to keep count. And then Ashwapati says to Savitri, my dear daughter, I don't want to see you widow in 1 year's time. You find someone else. Savitri says, no. Once I have decided, those words that she says, once it is decided in my heart, that comes out of my mouth. And then it is acted upon. So, mana, vachana, karma. That is very clear. So what I think, that I say, what I say, that I do. So I have decided. I have thought that Satyavan is to be my husband. I have told you, and it will be done. Nothing else. What a lady she is. Okay, and this we see again and again. When her interaction with her father-in-law, with her husband, we see her determination, her firmness related to what she is very clear about. Anyhow, I mean, I'm talking too much over here, but we know what all happened. She got married and she lived a very simple lifestyle over there. And then when she knows that Satyavan is only 4 days remain for Satyavan's death, she's keeping count of it, right? She gets into a very, very kathor vrata, a very, very tough ritual where for 3 days and 3 nights she's not eating anything. Not just that, she stands still at one place as if a log of wood. Even her father-in-law says, oh daughter, why are you doing this? He says, I have decided and I will do it. As simple as that. And on the last day, that is the day when Satyavan is about to die, I mean later in the day, in the morning she has finished her vrata, that is she has successfully completed it, and her father-in-law and mother-in-law says, and they all bless her that you will be Saubhagyavati, you will not be a widow. That is the greatest blessing for a lady, right? So as we in Hindi we say Sada Suhagan Raho, right? Always be not a widow, So that and then they say, why don't you break your fast? No, have something to it. She says, no, when my aim is accomplished at the end of today, that's only when I will eat. And then Satyavan is about to go to the forest, and then she makes a point. She says to Satyavan, I want to go with you. Then Satyavan says, you please take permission of my father. So she goes and asks for father's permission. Then the father-in-law says, for last 1 year since she's been here, when her father handed over her to me, I don't remember her asking for anything. Imagine, for 1 year she has not asked for anything. So that the moment when she asks it, it is given. That is a lady you must admire. And then she goes along with her husband, and while she's happily, cheerfully being with him, at the same time, one part of her mind is sad, so one part of her mind is cheerfully attending to whatever her husband is saying. And then we know what happened. Eventually, Satyavan faints, and then Yama Devata comes, Yama Dharmaraja, and the entire discussion of Savitri and Yama. I'll not go deep into it, but what I wanted to tell you is that she doesn't, um, she doesn't beseech him. She doesn't ask, oh, spare the life of my husband. First of all, Yama says, I am able to converse with you because of your tapas, because of your high, rigid austerities that you have done in the past. And that's why I'm even able to converse with you. Otherwise, ordinary people can't even see me. You're able to see me, you're able to talk to me because you're of that level. And then she is not like an abla nari, like, oh, leave my husband and all that. She just quietly walks with him, right? And then Yama says, go back, you are very far off and all that. She says, no, wherever my husband goes or wherever he is taken away, there I will go along with him. That is Sanatana Dharma. Here do note that there are 2 or 3 places where this word Sanatana Dharma is come. We call our Hindu Dharma as Sanatana Dharma. And there are several times where this is defined in Mahabharata, and I suppose in elsewhere in other Puranas also. And these are definitions we should keep, because this dharma is different for different people at different contexts, but we have to understand what it means, so that when we face any situation, we know what is Sanatana Dharma for us in that situation. So for Savitri at that time, the Sanatana Dharma was to continue walking with her, with the Jivatma of her husband, not the dead body, it is gone. The real husband is the Jivatma, which has been taken away by Yama Dharmaraja. So she walks in the southern direction with Yama. And she doesn't beseech him, oh, leave my husband and all that. She just quietly walks, and then she says very beautiful points on righteousness, on dharma, on noble virtues, on good company, sadhu company, that is being with saints and good people, and why Yama is called Dharmaraja and so on and so forth. So she says statement after statement like that, and every time she says, Yama is so happy with her that he says, "Oh, ask me a boon." Yes, I mean, my ears have thirsted to hear something like this, and it's like as if a rain in a barren land, the kind of words that you are telling me. So Yama is so pleased, and he says, "You ask me for a boon, but don't ask me for Satyavan's life." And every time he says this, she asks for a boon. See, she doesn't say, "No, no, no, it's okay, I will not ask." She asks for a boon because she is a lady. She is living in samsara, and she has relationships. She has her husband. She has her husband's family, her own family, right? So first she goes look at the dharma she follows. First she asks for her father-in-law, not for her father, because now the father-in-law is the head of her family. So first for the head of the family she asks, who is not well, he's blind, he's weak. So she asks for him so that he gets his eyesight back and he gets his health back. And she only asks one boon. She doesn't say, okay, let Dhumasen have eyesight, let him have kingdom, let him have riches. No, no, no. Only one thing. Let him have his eyesight and health back. His bodily health. That's what she asks for. Then again, next time when Yama asks, then she asks for Dhumasen getting back his kingdom, and that he should follow dharma and righteousness. Because getting back kingdom, it should not be that his mind goes awry and all that. He should still be following dharma. See, that is the greatness of her. She's always knowing what is dharma, right? Then again, when a boon is asked for, she asks for her father. And remember, her father wanted 100 sons, right? And eventually is getting that through Savitri. She asks for 100 sons for her father through her own mother, that is Malvi Devi. And then the fourth boon, she says that from me and Satyavan, let there be 100 sons. Right? So from both of us. Now, obviously, for that, Satyavan has to be alive. So Yama says, okay, we'll have 100 sons, but he doesn't say that Satyavan will be alive. Then finally, in the fifth boon, he says, okay, fine, Satyavan will be alive as well. That's what she wanted. She says, without this husband, what is the point of even me living? I don't want even Swarga, leave alone sons and grandsons. I mean, I'm not going to be there without him. So what is the point of giving all this? You said I'll have 100 sons, you will said I'll have happiness. How will I have happiness and 100 sons if my husband is not there, with whom I would want to have those sons? So Yama finally says, okay, I understand your point. You get your husband's life back. Not just that, he will live for 400 years and so on. And then we have to listen to all the things that happened after that. I mean, I'm just, I don't know, astonished or just like awestruck at this character of Savitri Devi. Uh, Even if I can be even 1% of what she is in terms of following my dharma, following rigidly that what I have to do, I will consider myself lucky. Lucky like hell. And I don't have that. And I feel sad. I know that that is something I don't have and I wish to have. That kind of rigidity towards one's dharma that Savitri Devi has. So this was a short summary from the depth of my heart. Openly I've talked to you on this. I hope you loved it, and thank you again for being with me throughout all of this. Namaste. Bye for now.